Xingyin gets her feet in the door with her sweeping ambition skill, but she still isn't invited to that famous party, which is very difficult because she would probably bring great tunes. Much has been said about Xingyin already, namely her base explosion is one of the most overwhelming in the game, and the bug list in the laundry has made her nearly unplayable. Still, the sweep ambition will be too good to ignore once the bugs in question are destroyed. Xingyin aims to facilitate a strong defense by rewarding aggression. Fervor swings his guitar like an axe, hitting an enemy deals fire damage and deals a small shield, hitting 2 enemies gives a larger shield, and hitting 3 enemies briefly pulses with Xingyin's fire arrow. What makes Vishal and Tartaglia the best archers in the game? The fact that his skills have nothing to do with archery. Foul Legacy twists the water in Genshin Impact, turning it into swords and spears that are more fun than a bow, Tartaglia's real weapon. Adding Hydro, allowing a combination of melting and vaporizing features to their attacks, is a nice bonus, but most players are happy not to force a bow, which is the most cumbersome weapon in the game, for those who don't abuse the exploits. Ganyu may change the player base's feelings about throwing arrows when he falls, but for now, the best archers in the game remain those who don't actually do that much archery. Which button dodges again? The rallying cry for all Beidou main lines. Other tactics feel cowardly once you get used to absorbing incoming damage and repelling it. Tide Collar allows Beidou to defend himself and absorb damage, especially from electro attacks. Collect enough damage or use the Wave Summoner while taking a hit to counter the attack with a massive electro damage bonus. Who needs to run when you're a pirate-shaped chainsaw ignited by the fury of your enemies? Kiki has been well represented in the previous talent rankings and is putting on an equally strong show here with the Herald of Frost. Much like the explosion element, Kiki's ability perfectly complements his Yangshi design, encouraging health stealing directly from enemies. Herald not only provides continuous healing to Kiki, but also restores HP to the entire group when he attacks his enemies. Placing Diona higher than Kiki may seem like the opposite choice. After all, the latter is considered the best healer currently available and offers a skill set worthy of such distinction. However, use on and off the battlefield is an important consideration when building your party, so it would be foolish to underestimate Mondstadt's undisputed chicken hunting champion. Icy Paws seeks bird wildlife better than any other skill, which greatly increases the number of life-saving sweet madams you can cook with. Considering that Diona belongs to Springvale's semi-cat human group, it makes sense that she'd be an expert at collecting poultry. While Icy Paws doesn't offer direct healing, with ideal gear, it can actually create a shield to block up to 30,000 damage for its intended use. Sucrose, the resident alchemist of the Knights of Favonius and the so-called harmless honey, has a rather sinister secret. Both her elemental explosion, Forbidden Creation Isomer 75, and her Estiable Anema Hypostasis ability were born from attempts to summon and control synthetic versions of world boss Beth, the Anemo Hypostasis. These wine demigods allow Sucrose to create a whirlwind that scavenges enemies, and the vortex reaction spreads any nearby elemental disturbance to anyone caught in the vortex. Genshin has so far revealed little about the leader of the Favonius Knights, Grandmaster Varka, but given the power of his acting Grandmaster Jean, it's safe to assume that the commander-in-chief was no joke. Jean is a valuable asset to your party in and of itself. The Gale Blade ability is a Star Wars-esque force choke and force push combination, allowing Jean to lift and throw enemies with ease, and also deals elemental damage to the field, making even giant vigilante mobs unsafe. Sith Lords do not need to apply. Countless blogs have already declared Vishal an honorary 5-star character, and not without reason. Genshin wants players to focus on leveling up at least 4 different characters, but since you'll only have one character active in the game, great value comes from those who can use damage-dealing abilities over time that remain active after you have switched to a different unit. Vishal excels in this category. Knight Rider summons the familiar ghost raven, Oz, who acts as a mini turret that fires damaging lightning alongside others you place on the field. Oz's characterization is another bonus, as Vish's reluctant maid semi-fictitious friend. Oz is the only person truly aware of the extent of Vish's mystical royal role-playing illusion. Oz is inclined to entertain the imaginative princess, as her very existence is dependent on the illusion in question. Another popular and fun nickname for Genshin fans Sucrose is Budget Venti. The nickname is quite unfair, as Sucrose has a lot to offer his group on his own and is more likely to raise the constellation than Venti due to his extreme scarcity. However, it is true that Venti can do everything Sucrose can do and then some. Skyward Sonnet is on a short cooldown and can hurl enemies up and spin other elements, just like Sucrose can. Holding down the Skyward Sonnet summons a much larger breeze that Venti can use to glide. This means not only reliable crowd control, but also greatly enhanced mobility too. If Kiki isn't the most popular character on Genshin Impact, he at least has the most devoted fans. Reddit groups like our qiqi mains are constantly coming up with new guides, not just for their best girls, but for the game as a whole. Stellar Restoration is one of the most talked about abilities in Qiqi's kit. It has a fairly short cooldown and deals good damage, and can be aimed, thrown or tapped to auto-lock on the nearest enemy. The most impressive thing about Stellar Restoration is that it allows Kiki to teleport in and out of combat, which makes him better than any other character at discovering shortcuts and being able to enter cordoned areas. Kiki is the S tier when it comes to exploration.